All right, baby boy.
Yep. Got the Titan to
If
54, and then I
yeah,
still gotta
yeah.
do Warlock and Hunter. Like
I got the
12.
hunter up, and I'm gonna do
Yeah.
my Titan. But like my Titan's sitting on 52 before anything, so should be okay.
I finished my third character, like character 3. I'm not gonna get to character 2.
Oh, because you went 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my Titan is at 54.
Yeah, it's plenty.
54 and an eighth.
Oh, nice. Sounds like we're gonna be all Titans. I'm kidding, man. no, we need a well.
I mean, I'll do it to get through the encounter. I don't care. We don't do what we gotta do, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh shoot! I was gonna do that. I was gonna start out by saying, "Let's play a game. 2 truths, 2 lies."
Oh no!
And say 4 things.
Is Ryan typing that right now? Is that what you said it? I'm typing something else, so I didn't get to see.
I wonder why the Grand Overture machine gun was disabled.
It's the same thing as the rocket launcher. The name is gone from my brain, even though it's on the TWAB. Where is it?
What about Warcliffe?
Yeah, it does the same thing as Warcliffe. Basically, what you do is you'd lay into the boss with 20 shots, switch your firing, and then you fire 20 rockets. Or you'd hit something 20 times to load up 20 rockets, and then once the boss phase happens, everybody switches to the rockets, and then just unloads 20 shots into the boss. It's just like Wardcliffe. So I'm assuming it is if you're close enough that they would all go, because they go straight. They don't track like Wardcliffe does a little bit. If you're close enough that you can shoot at a boss and it's big enough, technically all 6 people can just lay into it. Now, what my favorite part is going to be is when we run this again on Sunday or Monday, I'm going to try that. We're going to try that.
Yeah.
Because it's going to, we're with Wardcliffe first, obviously. But it's going to be fun. Everybody just sits there. It's going to be like Spire. Once you finally get to the boss damage phase, you're just going to sit there. Right. Oh, man. Which means we need to play it in a way, once we find that boss, that kind of damage will work out. I mean, if we're using rockets and a galley, it'll do similar kind of thing because all the little wolf packs coming back around. But Wardcliffe is a special boy, and Overture is probably coded the same way for those rockets. So they're both very special little boys.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah. Because even like the firing, like the rockets, everything looks similar. Imperial Needle was coded as Wish Ender.
Was it so it was getting extra?
It was getting that buff, yeah.
Buff.
Yep.
That was the only thing that I could think of that would make sense.
Yeah, it was coded as Wish Ender.
It's pretty crazy how they made some of them weapons like on top of weapons already in the exotics that's in game.
Yeah.
Like what was Aikilo's SMG modeled after?
Striga, Osteo Striga.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I thought it was like tied to Wrist Grinder or something.
That was I mean that would be your first thought, but I saw a YouTube video to where I think
a guy killed him.
It killed somebody in the Crucible,
feed.
And it was neat with it, and it gave the Osteo Striga logo in the kill feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like it showed normal SMG kill, like in the regular feed, but then it like as the person that died, it showed Osteostriga as the reason.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Ikalos has been a lot of fun. So I want to play with him while he's strong.
Man, I don't know. The Vox Obscura pinnacle for killing like powerful Cabal or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I had to run that mission like 2 times to completion basically in order to unlock that. That's too much for a pinnacle.
Yeah, something's off.
That's gonna be one of those
But
things.
I think
It's gonna be one of those things that I'll never do once I reach pinnacle cap. Ever.
I think it's one of those things that as we progress through it, that there's going to be more stuff unlocked through it. That you're going to complete that. Okay. All right. I am
For Divinity.
ready. Yeah.
Are we still are we going to be doing like Iggy or Whisper if we're running a Divinity run build, depending on the boss, obviously,
Mm-hmm. So it depends on the
Okay.
crit spot.
or Sleeper.
Yeah. It depends on how much we're getting flinched when we're trying to shoot.
Yeah.
It depends if we have a hunter on or not. So
Yeah. We'll have to check the crit too, because if we can do like a damage test, because we're going to be dying a lot, so it doesn't matter. But like if we hit him in the head with a whisper shot or like a sniper, and then we do hit the bubble with the sniper, we can see the damage difference. Because if it's significantly, because sometimes the damage modifier, like on the Techune witch bosses, the multiplier's higher for hitting the head versus a divinity bubble. So that's something we'll have to
Talking
check.
about like Kali and Shirochi.
Yeah, because they have like a major crit modifier for criticals, and that gets reduced to the divinity increase.
Right.
So if it's you're better off getting headshots, even though it's harder.
The other thing is that that void thing is messing with divinity and overrides it.
Yeah. I mean, if we're running divinity, it's going to be lots of survival
Running
builds.
divinity,
Just,
like everybody's gonna have to be off of void.
Yeah.
Like that's really the only.
just don't throw a
Well,
grenade
no,
on the
you can
boss.
still, just don't do that.
That's fine.
Because you
I
can,
mean, I guess
like, it's great for survival.
Titan can
Void is
still
great.
run it.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, like a
But
bubble.
I
in the
mean,
back
there wouldn't
like,
be a reason for a hunter to run it though.
I mean, Quiver can still help you clear ads. Like if you need to clear ads right before a damage phase, that's a safe way to do it because it keeps them. It locks them up with that stun stagger effect from the suppression
I wonder how
effect of
that
the
works
bow.
with the parasite. The buff that
The
goes to
rocket
20
launcher
or whatever.
not the grenade launcher.
Yeah, the worm launcher.
Bust weapons by 15% if you damage yourself.
No. So, like, if somebody tethers something and then, you get kills with like your primary or secondary weapon, like one or two shots is going to kill X amount of enemies, right? So, do you get all that multiplier onto that first parasite shot?
Probably.
So you shoot a tether,
Yep.
it tethers 8 enemies, and let's say a couple of them are yellow bars, and then I come through and I shoot an enemy in the tether and kill everything in the tether. Is that going to give me the times 20 for the parasite?
No, it's probably going to give the stuff to the guy that shot the tether, not to you. It's more likely, like, it might not count for you because the tether's interacting tie into another player.
Right.
I see the parasite potentially can be good if it's another like 8-track situation, divided, really short DPS window.
Yeah, where basically
Yep.
you're only using it to hit the boss real quick.
Yep. You have like a 5-second window or something
Mhm.
for damage.
Where you do have plenty
Or-
of ads to kill to rack
Or
up the
like
damage for a little bit.
like a Shuro Chi would be another one. Because you remember at day one on that, you had to use that one buff to extend the damage phase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That was the captain, right?
Yeah, the captain you kill that drops
And
the
that takes one person
the-
out of DPS too.
yeah. Good old trench barrel.
And then if we're not living in a damage phase through we'll have to do Ursa trade outs.
Yeah.
Yep. With the amount of titans we got, we should be okay with that.
Yeah, we should always have one up, I feel.
You could literally just have 4 of them
Yeah.
keep chaining the entire
Yeah.
entire encounter practically. So
Yeah, because that what is that? The Ursus is a 40% buff.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like you're gonna lose your DPS for a little bit,
mm-hmm.
but then you can get it back because you're gonna run behind and someone else is gonna pop up. So it'll be fine.
Chad, on your screen, Fox ain't there, right?
That is true. He is not.
Oh.
I thought he was trying something special and new. Oh, look, there he is. Oh,
No, my 30-minute timer went off.
Gotcha.
I didn't realize that. The one thing I would change about this camera, like, I wish I had a different camera, but I can't justify spending $700 to not touch a button every 30 minutes.
Right, baby, boo. I gotta like do my grocery shopping on my lunch tomorrow.
You just order it.
You see
like, ahead of
my
time.
you see my
Pick it up.
basket?
I did see your basket. Yeah. Yeah, I could do that. There's a Target on my way home. I could easily do that.
Pronounced Target.
That's for people that aren't in the know or making fun of me.
Nah, so
Target.
That's for people that
that's what we call it. Target.
what we call it because it's way more fancy than Walmart.
Yeah.
So
The Walmart.
gotta bougie it up. So we call it Target. I did buy some champagne. I'm popping the bottle whenever we get that day one clear. As soon as that Triumph pops.
I told Fred, I'm like, look, I want that emblem. So we're playing for real.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I want it too. And I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah. You don't understand how many hours I sat at Ajax.
Oh my gosh,
If
dude.
we don't get it this time, I'm not doing them again. I'm out.
You say that.
No.
This is the best.
I mean,
this,
no, dude. Like
this is our Super Bowl, man.
No, it's not.
Day one dungeons. Those are my happy place.
Those
Day
are
one
pretty
raids are great.
easy.
Well, okay. They are, but they're fun. They're fun. They're a lot of fun, and you're going to complete it. They're too easy for us now.
They're like 3 hours tops to do a
Yeah,
day
it's
one
great.
dungeon.
It's a fun time. It's a real fun time. Yeah.
All right. Fox,
You
whenever you're
guys
ready.
ready to do this?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I can start now.
Yep.
We are live for episode 50 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, March the 3rd, 2 days away from the world's first raid race. And I am a very excited, not Ryan Fox, here with my fire team, Jared.
Hey guys, we're going to play a quick game. We're going to play 2 truths and 2 lies. Weapon crafting is great. Cade 6 is coming back. I'm a Titan main. And we will get a day 1 raid completion. So
That's tough because I know his thoughts on a couple of those, so I'm not sure. And the Chronicler himself, Chad Ocero.
Oh boy, this is a big day for us and the rest of the Destiny community. So I'm excited. Saturday's coming up. It's rolling in.
And remember, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, click the bell, and do all that fancy stuff that everybody else says. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send a spongy friend request so we can play together. Join the Discord server. We're going to get into the TWAB. But before we do that, let's listen to the intro music from our favorite producer, Link, at Link of Time G on Twitter.
all right, so let's go dive straight into the TWAB this week, and DMG is filling us in on everything we need to know about the raid before we go in on Saturday. So first of all, the raid is called Vow of the Disciple, and they have a pretty cool little minute-long YouTube video of past raid reactions. People were finally getting through a raid or getting exotic to drop, which is some pretty cool moments that if you've ever experienced, I don't even, whenever Chad got that Vex Mythic class to drop after 30 something runs, is that what it took, or was it more than that?
It was in the 50s. It was in the high 50s, I think.
Yeah,
I'll have to double check, but I remember it being ridiculous.
So that kind of feeling there is kind of what you see in that video. A lot of people's reactions to stuff happening, that kind of level of stuff that's gone on in Destiny over the last almost 8 years now. So what is a world's first raid race? For some of you who don't know, I mean, they've been going on for a while. Ever since Fall of Glass back in 2014, they've gone on, and they've went through different iterations, as it's gone through, of when it releases. Is there any negative modifiers as people get capped in the light power? So basically what we're settling at now is that every player and every encounter is going to be 20 light below the recommended power. So they say you need to be 1530 going in on Saturday to make sure you're at where you need to be for every encounter. So just to give you an example, so when the Nightfall Legend says recommended power of 1550, whatever power you are, you go in there, it's what you are. But now, on Saturday, for 24 hours, you're going to be 20 below at 1530, no matter what. And your artifact is going to be enabled, which in the past they've disabled that. Well, that didn't count towards your power level. But that will be there to benefit you. However, they reiterated the fact that you will not be above 1530 no matter what your artifact power level is. With many things that go on during the raid, they were very concerned about cheese, about one-shotting bosses or getting around some stuff that is being exploited in the game. So they're disabling a few things for the day 1 race. So the weapons we're disabling is the Achilles SMG, Imperial Needle, Grand Overture Exotic Machine Gun. That's a new one from the season pass. And Warcliffe Coil, a rocket launcher. And then we got some armor and armor mods. Warm God Caress, Peregrine Greaves, and Suppressing Glaive Artifact. So, Fox, I think you've talked about stuff's going on with these two legendary weapons, the Achelos and the Needle. What happened with those and why are they being disabled?
Yeah, absolutely. So apparently the way that Bungie does some of the coding is it seems like they kind of copy the coding of some weapons onto others. So with the Ikelos SMG, it and the Osteostriga had the same coding. So there was some testing done. I saw a video on YouTube like 2 or 3 days ago to where somebody was killed in Crucible with the Ikelos SMG, but it showed up in the kill feed as it was the Osteostriga. Why that is important is because of the buff that was given to exotic primary weapons with the launch of the Witch Queen DLC. The other weapon, the Imperial Needle, which is the bow, it was coded as the Wish Ender, which is obviously going to be the same weapon buff to, excuse me, the exotic primaries. So that is why both of those were disabled for the raid. And I know Chad was explaining to me about Warcliffe Coil and the Grand Overture earlier, so he can explain it to you guys now.
Yeah, so Warcliffe Coil hits fairly hard, but a lot at a time. And some bosses, like some of us will remember the Spire of Stars, it hits really weird. And then the Gorgons as well. Like if you have a couple people shooting Wardcliffe, it hits at such a fast rate in a weird way that it actually just demolishes health very quickly. So from what I've seen from firing Grand Overture, once you get 20, you don't have to get a full amount of rockets, I don't think. But if you get 20 rockets and 6 people fire them all at once at the same boss, I feel like it's going to do the same thing that Wardcliffe does, which is why they took it out. Because its base damage isn't great. But it fires all 20 of those rockets so fast, it feels like a Wardcliffe shot when you do it. So I think those are definitely probably work out the same way. If we still had the Spires boss, I'd want to go in there and test it and see what it does. We could probably do it on the Gorgons. Get a bunch of Grand Overtures and just go in there and go to town. But
is it Valkaor? Was that the
Valkaor? Yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but it came from up here.
It was in there. The armor that they hit obviously is Titan, and that was because of the enhanced 1-2 punch, which makes me very sad because my Knees of Justice are off the menu for the raid. But Worm Gods and Peregrines were actually doing massive damage with Peregrines with the enhanced 1-2 punch, and the Worm Gods without it at all. It was still doing like 4 million in a melee with that just the regular. From testing that I've seen. Now the Suppressing Glaive, that one's surprising to me. I'm assuming because of that there's going to be unstoppable champs. But is there another thing it does?
Yeah, so you could go invis as a hunter and stay invis by spamming the melee, and you would never come out of invis.
There you go. It makes sense because you're killing a suppressed enemy.
No, you're not even killing.
So you just
keep spamming.
Oh, you just hit him?
No, you don't even have to hit anything. You just keep spamming.
You can just swing it in midair and it'll whoop.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They didn't disable it yet, right? So I can do it now.
I wish I would have known this playing through the campaign as the hunter.
Yeah, I know.
I was like man, this hunter.
Like if that works that way, I have something I'm going to tell my homie who's still working on the darkness boss, Scorn boss, the one in the pit. Yeah. Like he's been having trouble with that one. So if that still works currently, I'm going to tell him to do it.
That one's tough. Now they mentioned some patterns today. They messed with that, so I don't know how well. There's still something going on with that artifact they don't like.
Was that artifact mod? Is that in the 3rd column or the 4th column?
Do you remember? 4th. I think it's the 4th one.
So it's pretty far into there then.
Yeah.
All right. So that is the stuff they have taken away for now. If anything else comes up, they'll be monitoring YouTube and Twitter. And if they want to disable it, they'll gladly hit that disable button just to make that race a little more fair.
I did notice Cheese Forever has already posted other stuff that's not working as intended on his YouTube channel. So I don't know. I wouldn't be
enjoy him
surprised
very
if
much.
there's one or two more coming.
He's great, and I think he's doing it for the sanctity of the raid race. Putting them out there so that Bungie can see it and so that they hit it so that people don't abuse it, which I'm thankful for and not thankful for because I want to try it. Yeah. Not in the raid, just in general. I want to do it. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for your service, sir.
So as of right now, Bonk Hammer is not taken away. So the 1-2 punch for Syntheseps is still a thing with Bonk Hammer. So it's going to be interesting to see if something don't happen with that. I know some other people tweeted at DMG like, why is Syntheseps not being taken away? Because there's some stuff they can do with that. But as of right now, they don't see it as a potential issue. So I guess we'll wait and see for that. So as we get back to the raid, world's first competition, right? So what do you have to do to get first place? So the first fire team to complete all encounters, loot the final chest, and return to orbit will be world's first. So you have to do all those steps. It's not just when you kill the boss, that's when your time ends. No, wherever the chest spawns, like Garden of Salvation, no, you have to go all the way down to the bottom, get all the way down to the chest, and then open it, then hit. So like
that'd be the.
We don't know. I mean, sometimes it comes down to a few seconds. So you might be see.
You have to get that. You have to get that mission complete, right? And that kind of the most important thing to see.
You have to have that timer hit.
So,
yeah. So and then there'll be announced.
If we win it, whenever we complete it, I've got a bottle of champagne. I am popping that bottle. Yeah. Once we get that 24-hour completion.
Winners will be announced at Destiny the Game on Twitter, and they will be going back and verifying the participants of the raid race. So there might be a chance that a very popular streamer completes the raid very early on. That means it's a high possibility, and they might be waiting for confirmation for a while because Bungie is going and shifting through footage and just making sure, crossing the T's, dotting their I's, that people didn't do anything shady to complete encounters and get through.
It'd be a real shame if like a really popular streamer beat a raid and all of this fire team got the raid exotic, but they weren't the first ones to do it. That would be a real shame.
Hey. Throwing shade at my boy.
So, of course, if you get a completion in the first 24 hours with the contest modifier on, you'll be getting a unique emblem for accomplishing that goal. And it's a lot of black in that emblem with some other stuff sticking out that's pretty sweet if you want to check it out in the TWAB. We have yet to get one of these yet. So, I mean, I think we're going to be giving it all we got to try to get this one done. And, of course, we got raid jackets. You need to be able to complete the raid before March 15th at 10 a.m. Pacific time in order to unlock the possibility of getting the raid jacket. So it gives you like...
How much are these raid jackets? Like $250? Is that what we paid for
This one's $150. Yeah.
All right. I remember I paid way too much. And if you are a chonk or a big boy, they do not come in your size. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. I will verify. I felt a lot like Chris Farley whenever I put my jacket on, whenever I got it before. So they are definitely California style. They are slim fit. So just a PSA for that.
All right. So if you want to get that jacket, I was going to say the point again. You need to get a completion before March 15th, and place the order before March 31st, in order to get the jacket.
So, one more question about the jacket. Mm-hmm. If you order the jacket, do you think you would get it in the year 2022, or do you think you'll get it after New Year? Because these things are like notoriously long before they're shipped.
Yeah, with the way supply chains and stuff's going right now, like I ordered the Season of the Splicer hoodie, as soon as I could, and I still haven't got it yet. And that was,
Oh wow.
yeah.
And that's just a hoodie. That's
Yep.
not even a personalized jacket.
So I think you're waiting at least 9 to 12 months for that jacket. So
So you might go
Cabron.
an entire fall or winter,
Yep.
entire spring, summer, fall, and winter before you see that thing.
so
Oh well, I do think this is probably the best looking jacket of all of them, though.
What?
I think
I think so, man.
We don't have enough time to talk about this at the moment.
okay.
It does
Sorry.
look great.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep
All
it
right.
moving.
So also along with raids, there's seasonal pins, there's a seal pin, and there's a normal emblem you get whenever you beat the raid. All those things can be unlocked. The big thing is that the pin that you can get from the Bungie store, you need to be able to order that by December 31st at the end of the year. So that is completing like the badge, getting all the weapon drops, getting the exotic drop, getting all the armor on one of your characters, doing all the challenges. That's what it takes usually to get the title in game that unlocks the pin in the Bungie store for you to purchase. All right, so that's all the information they gave us for the raid. Do you think we left anything out that's like a detail of? Well, it starts at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's 1 o'clock Eastern on March 5th. So that's an hour.
Right?
Yeah, it's an hour after reset.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you think we're gonna have a quest we're gonna have to do from 12 to 1 to unlock the raid?
I think you're gonna have to go talk to somebody, and that starts it. I don't know who that.
I don't know, man. Well, just remember, whenever you guys listen to this, twitch.tv/Conqueror's Corner. You can watch us go for that world first.
Mhm.
I would say that we're probably underdogs going for the world's first, but you never know.
I think our odds would be like 10,000 to 1 for us to win that
Hey.
race.
That's pretty good. Pretty good in my book.
Let's
With my odds.
might as well take a flyer on it, right?
Yep. Somebody gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you always take that bet.
Hey, I'm just saying, we were beating
You
lots of
always
streamers
take
in
that
Deepstone. In Deepstone, we were figuring that stuff out faster than a bunch of the streamers. So
Yeah,
I know
just hit a brick wall.
we were ahead of Grenadier Jake for a long time. So,
and then we hit a Atrax 1 wall. But well, that's a conversation for another day.
that's another podcast. Another podcast Atrax is.
All right, so the next part of the talk, they talk about some feedback that the community has given over the launch of Witch Queen and some pain points that the players have felt. And the first one is weapon drops inside of the Wellspring activity. Everybody's trying to get the weapons to drop with the deep side resonance in order to unlock the weapon. That's one of the like precursor quest steps to get the exotic glaives. And people's been in there for hours and hours and not getting weapon drops at all, let alone getting the weapon to drop with the red outline. So next Thursday, they're going to be increasing the drop chances for both of those scenarios. Straight up get the weapon and get the weapon with the deep sight resonance. I think yesterday I finally got the second red auto rifle. So that is the only pattern that I've unlocked through West.
I haven't seen a Tarnation. I have not even seen a Tarnation.
See,
come
like
out.
this
And
is the part that
running the thing
bugs
on
me, man.
Master.
Like I've gotten those. I've gotten that done. I'm done with that quest, but I haven't gotten another alloy, so I still don't have the catalyst on the Osteo.
Okay.
Like
So-
I just
So
can't.
I have the catalyst on that, and I have 2 more alloys just sitting and waiting.
Yeah,
Trying to
that's.
figure
I'm
out what
so
I'm going to
happy.
use it on. If I could, I would give you one if I could.
I know you would.
I think I've gotten all of mine from the Master Wellspring, like the enhanced missions that you can play to try to get the 100K or whatever. I haven't got one drop from there. I've only got it from Master Wellspring. So speaking of Cinder
By the way,
alloys,
that Master Wellspring is real fun. If you have a team of 6, that is. I mean, I've been LFGing it, and I think I've done it 4 times, and 3 times we've been successful. One time we were 10 seconds shy of being able to beat that second phase. So, and I like it a lot more on the master mode opposed to the normal mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ursa Titan is very, very good in there. It really can save you a lot, better than the bubble, in my opinion, because the bubble's so stationary, and usually gets stomped out by the boss super easy. And even though your Ursa banner wall never goes away until your super goes out, so definitely give that a try. All right, we talked about Ascended Alloys. That's also something that Bungie's we're thinking that we are not getting enough of. So gold and platinum completions of the Master Wellspring should have a higher opportunity to drop Ascended Alloys. They also today with a hotfix they updated the replayable missions for the campaign with the Legend or Master or the Adept versions to say the difference between Ascended Alloy chances, uncommon, common, and then rare or something like that. So you should see it more easily about the chances to get. The next, they have nothing set in stone yet, but they're looking at gambit tuning. So the main ideas there is heavy weapon usage, invader frequency, and primeval phase health. So I've played some gambit this last 10 days or so. I think I've played maybe like 10 games, and I think it's the worst this gambit has ever felt, in my opinion. Like, they gave us like almost the way the maps rotated, like with Gambit Prime, how you had to rotate around the map, but had none of the cool effects of Gambit Prime.
I think that the boss portion needs some work, but I think that it seems like you get to the primeval phase faster because there are only 2 invasions instead of 3. But the invasions while you are in the primeval phase, because the primeval phase takes longer because you have to run away from the boss and then run to one of the 3 fronts of each map. So that takes added time, and each of the the envoys has a different flavor shield. So, you're not always effective at taking that shield down, and then the invading starts chaining.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you finally kill the envoy, somebody comes over and invades, and you kind of waste your damage phase, or you get into your damage phase and you get that damage wall, like the immunity block on you, and it doesn't feel great. But I don't necessarily think it's the worst game it's ever felt. It's not where it needs to be, like, at all. But I mean, I've played probably 20 games, 25 games, because I like to use Gambit as like my level off place. And, I've already got the only thing I have left to do is to get 50 wins, and I'm gilded. I think I am at 11 wins so far. I'm probably at around a 50% win rate. But I have noticed, Jared, last week you mentioned that at certain points during the season that Iron Banner was easier not in the freelance mode, and it is easier in like the normal mode. And I believe that Gambit is easier not in freelance already, which is not a great sign for that freelance playlist.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they need to do away with that freelance playlist.
And I always, with Gambit, agree with Ryan. And this time, Jared quite a bit as well. But same thing. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time in there, especially this week. I've been grinding out Vanguard stuff because of the multiplier.
Yeah.
So I got my shotgun. Yay.
Yeah.
But now I got to go back again.
Mhm.
So I haven't spent a lot of time in there. I did my 3 pinnacles last week. I did a pinnacle this week. So 15 games maybe-ish. But all their points. I hit all of them. Hit just nail on the head right there.
All right. Next thing, the Steam Deck. A lot of people has been getting their hands on theirs, and like me, I was like, cool. I would want a Steam Deck to play Destiny on the go. You just some with Wi-Fi, pull out that little handheld. But if you did that with that in mind, you are SOL, because Destiny 2 it will not be supported on the Steam Deck. Basically, the anti-cheat does not work on the Steam Deck. This is like basically what they said here. They wanted to keep that
So,
consistent.
how much have you guys looked into this, like the Steam Deck and stuff? Have you been following it very much?
Not really.
No.
Because I personally am not going to get it, so I'm not really
All
reading
right.
anything
So
on it.
I've been kind of on the fence about purchasing one. I do not need this whatsoever. But whenever stuff like this comes out, I'm always kind of interested by it. So if you go to look on, I can't remember if it's like the Steam Deck website or the BattleEye website, but one of them mentions that it's as easy to make it work. It's as easy as like the developer given like the okay, like the way it's worded, anything with BattleEye, that it uses BattleEye, it's not supposed to be intensive to make it work on the Steam Deck, which makes me think that this is more of an issue of you can run like Linux on the Steam Deck, and I think it is, and Destiny is currently not supported on Linux, and it makes me think that it is the like the homebrew applications as opposed to like the stock Steam Deck, because with the Steam Deck you have a lot of options as to like what operating systems and things you can run on. Most people run it on Windows. That's kind of how it comes. But there's the Android, like the Proton operating system, and you can also run Linux on it. And I think that is why you're not able to do it, because you would think in theory it could just run even the Stadia version, right? But I think it is more. I don't think they're giving the whole story here in the TWAB, and I would never call, the people that like the community managers that write the TWABs, like DMG Dylan. I would never call Dylan a liar, but I feel like we're not getting the whole story here.
We're getting the PR statement.
Yeah, that's his job.
Yep.
So like, if that was my job, I would do the exact same thing. But I don't think that this is the truth. I think they are more concerned about the home brewing part of the applications, as opposed to, oh, it's just not compatible and we're doing you guys a favor by not letting you use the Steam Deck. But who knows? I mean, I don't know anything. So I just know what I read on the internet.
I'm really glad I didn't get one, because I would have been very, very disappointed because it would have been the only purpose would have been to
it'd
play
be
Destiny
so
on the couch.
rad though.
Yeah.
So rad to be able to go in and run your strikes or whatever for the week.
Yeah. I mean, heck, just disable PvP on them if they're that concerned. I mean, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We had a hotfix that went live today. I mentioned a little bit before, but I'm just going to give you some of the highlights of it. Days of Eternity should now have the score displayed properly and have lightning rounds again. Deep Sight Tier 3 chests are disabled. Players were opening them too quickly. So that is like the farm to get Finch from level 15 up to 30 to unlock your Master Wellspring and everything else from him. So then it came out into the community that if, like, say, you bought Witch Queen on Steam, then you can go load it on Stadia and do that chest farm, and you only get world weapons because that's the only thing that can drop from it then. And that's how people was like farming funnel webs and the new the Kanta 57 hand cannon and stuff like that. So they disabled those. So sorry for those people that didn't grind that ghost chest out and get Finch leveled up quickly, because that just now got a little more difficult.
Man, there were like 2 evenings I sat there and thought, I really need to get on there and do this because I know it's going to get nerfed.
Yeah.
But I just had zero motivation to get on there and just run a loop. It felt too much like the part of Destiny 1 that I hated. So I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I did get up to like level 17 or 18 just naturally playing through the last 2 weeks. So I'll get to 30 before the season's over, I'm sure.
You got Master Wellspring unlocked. That's pretty much the most important thing. And you get the rep from grinding out Wellspring, so I'm sure you'll be doing a lot of that in the future. So in the Wellspring,
I got the Wellspring, the Master Wellspring, and the Heroic Mission or whatever. I got both of those unlocked, and the Tier 3 Resonance. So I was pretty satisfied at that point.
In the Wellspring, there is a wizard that can phase through the floor and lose the orb, and basically you just completely are locked out at progressing. Then, so you just need to go with the orbit and restart. They should have fixed that so that the wizard should no longer be phasing through the floor. The Ragnard D shotgun. So whenever this came out last week, everybody was like, "Wow, the shotgun has a 16 zoom. This is crazy." It's like getting consistent kills at 9 meters, aiming down sights. Every now and then you can get a kill at 10 meters. So like me, I've been leveling up this shotgun because it's craftable to make it. And then today there's like, we can't have fun shotguns. We're taking that zoom back down to 12. Just like every other shotgun in the game. Gives me no reason to grind out this weapon crafting shotgun because it's just like all the other ones that I got. So who cares about it? It's going to go collect dust. Second, overload rounds and ARs and SMGs are now so they wasn't stunning the overload champions' health regen. It was stunning them like where they stopped moving, but wasn't keep the health regen. So that should now happen. So this 100% confirms overload champs in the raid, because there's been overloads in every raid since they introduced champions. 100% getting overload chieftains on Saturday. And finally, they increased the cost of pulling weapons and armor from collections to prevent gunsmith farming. So I don't know if you all seen this, but basically you can continue to pull like the same helmet over and over again and just dismantle it to rank up the gunsmith to get him leveled all the way out to get your ascended alloy and all that stuff. So we can't have people doing that in the tower. So take that away too.
I miss all the fun stuff, I guess. I played so heavy like the first 4 days that the last couple of days I've had that real life stuff to take care of.
Yeah.
So I've kind of missed some of the cheese here lately.
All right, so in and of the TWAB, yesterday Bungie did their Game to Give charity live stream. I tried to listen to as much of it I could. Pretty entertaining. They gave a lot of stuff away. Raised over $100,000. So props to everybody in the community that did that. One of the milestones was releasing a Wear TWAB shirt. So that is also at the end of the TWAB. You can see it, and it's also on the Bungie store to pre-order it. So I'm sure you'll probably get that in 6 to 10 months. All right, so that's it for the TWAB. So basically everything's just looking towards Saturday, and that's what we're going to be talking about next is our day one Valve of the Disciple loadouts. I'll go ahead and kick us off quickly. Void, and more Void. So as you see on your seasonal artifact, there's all kinds of well makers and also volatile flow. So basically everything I'm going to be doing is tying into that for the most part. So what we've memed on wells for like since they came out, and like those are terrible. Why would you ever run them? You have Charged with Light, which is so much easier. The weapons make it, the orbs and all that stuff. Well, that's no longer the thing because the helmets make them. You have to use a helmet mod to make the orbs. And they gave us just straight up basically free mods that only cost maybe 1 or 2 energy to slot into your armor. So if I want to choose 5 of these mods, just a simple mod system, the chain back and forth that for you all to follow. Number 1, Font of Might. It's on the seasonal artifact. It only costs 1. Number 2, Volatile Flow. That costs 2. That gives all void weapons volatile when it hits enemies. So that's free DPS. 3, Melee Wellmaker. That costs 1. So, Titan's got that awesome shield throw. Easily make wells through that. Warlocks with its Void Ball Push. Well, I don't know if I forgot the name of it. I've been playing a lot of Warlock this week. But that's very easy. Well of Tenacity. When you pick up a Void Well, you get 50% damage reduction for 10 seconds. They just nerfed the crap out of Protective Light, and that's only a 10% damage resistance now. So this is the other end of that. And then finally, Elemental Ornaments. That's basically getting a void kill with a weapon. Increases your chance for a well to spawn. So that's in a range from 3 or so, sometimes more, to get a void well to drop. So that's going into play with basically everything I do with ad clear all the way up to boss DPS. So it's basically just a couple simple ways that I'm looking at that. One's going to be centered around the Austria-Striga. That gun is like the best exotic primary for DPS, right? So great for overload if that's the case that's going on there. So I'm going to pair that with an ad clear grenade launcher or a blinding grenade launcher. I have a truth teller that's void that has blinding, or have deafening whisper that just it's got ambitious assassin and rampage. So I can just really clean stuff up with that. Then I'm tacking on a void heavy, just depending on the encounter, right? So I have 3 in mind: threaded needle, royal entry, and corrective measure. What made me think of corrective measure is when we had to shoot the fuses in Deepstone Crypt, how they didn't have a crit box or anything. You just had to straight just continuously shoot them. So I was afraid the splash damage from rockets could, if it's a same deal. Mm-hmm. And then that threaded needle is such a huge crit multiplier for linear fusion, so that's not the play there. So that's why I was thinking of a void heavy.
Yep.
And then the other loadout I was thinking of is Witherhoard with Izanagi's Burden in that kinetic slot. And then, depending on champions, Palindrome, Funnel Web, or Under Your Skin, the new Void Bow with Threaded Needle or Royal Entry again. So really just doubling down on Void as much as possible. And then if I'm on a Warlock, Contra-Force Hold is what's been my favorite. Getting grenade killed so easily and then getting more grenade energy back, proc and devour, and getting void weapon kills at the same time, getting more elemental wells. That's just all playing right in with each other again. So that's what my main thought is. Just leaning straight into Void 3.0 as much for me.
You actually have a couple different choices there if you don't have that corrective measure. You have Commemoration, and you also have that Shattered Cipher, which are void. All of those are void machine guns that could do pretty good.
All right, and then usually always a raid you need a well locker too, and it's either Phoenix Protocol or Lunar Factions for that. And then usually the Warlock is also the one using Divinity, so I would pair that with an auto-loading lasting impression Pamaya B, which is the Stasis Hake rocket launcher that you can level up in weapon crafting, which I've been leveling up for that one scenario that have a auto-loading lasting impression rocket launcher to pair with Divinity. So
I know that you mentioned Lunar Factions and those, but I really like the Boots of the Assembler, especially for this D1 stuff, because you can kind of heal your teammates without having to think about healing your teammates. So that's something you can think about as well.
Yeah, and it's easy to trade out Lunar Factions, if you're just trading out that one same exotic slot. Flipping between those is a really good idea, which that leads me to what I would think what hunters would most likely be doing, and that's using the Mobius Quiver with Orpheus Rigs to get the extra volley. It seems like they can really pump out some good DPS and also debuffing a boss at the same time. So I would use the Orpheus Rigs for a boss phase and then switch out to either Gemini Gestures or Frosties. Gemini Gestures is decent because it's almost like a little blinding nade goes off around you to get some ads off if you have to go move out of the way. And then if I have to go on to Titan, Chad, I mean, there's only one thing I should be doing if I have to switch to Titan, right?
Thunder Crash, baby.
That's right.
Falling Stars for that extra deeps. But moving on to Titans here. I know that he talked about Warlocks, Ryan, and we'll get back to Warlocks here in a second. But for me, it's obviously I'm going to be going with a Void build just to take advantage of that. The Void and the Volatile Flow as much as I can. Melee Wellmaker, basically a copy and paste of what Jared's got going on here, because I got a lot of ways to do the melee one with that throwing shield. Fauna Might's great, and Volatile Flow is just a lot of fun. Lots of Void weapons to go around to help trigger that flow. So I'm looking like probably Osteostriga for the main, and then like Truth Teller, Deafening, Null Composure. There's so many different Void secondaries that you can use that are specials. And then, like you said, Royal Entity, Threaded Needle, Commemoration. I was thinking about Commemoration as well, Ryan, depending on if it's like just an ad clear kind of phase and not a DPS one, because Commemoration's great. And that extra, just getting a Volatile with that machine gun, I feel like would be hilarious.
Yeah, especially because you can get like reconstruction on that and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. So you can switch to it and have a gigantic magazine, and then just damage for days. And then if I'm not doing that, if I feel like switching off of Osteo, probably doing like a Wither Horde or a different blinding launcher in the kinetic slot, Izanagi, depending. Obviously, that's depending on what kind of phase we're going. If we're going a DPS phase or just a survival ad clear kind of phase. Obviously, I got Palindrome, Funnel Web, a couple of different Void primaries that are options there, and again, Royal Entry, Threaded Needle, Commemoration, depending on what kind of phase we're looking at. For Arc build, you can switch off a lot of that stuff because you can get Volatile Flow still as long as you got teammates that are running Void to help pump out the amount of Void wells that are going on. But there's some good Arc well mods. There's one that just makes everything track to you, so you don't have to worry too much about picking up wells. They just come right at you as long as they're within a couple of meters of you. But for that, obviously, if I'm switching to Arc, it's Falling Star. That's the only reason I'm doing it is Falling Star. So probably looking at Osteo, Blinding Launcher to help keep myself safe because I won't be pumping out over shields like my Voidy Boy will. So I'll need that blinding to help make sure that me and my ally, if it's a 2-for or a 3-for, make sure we're alive because I don't have those barricades to help us out. And then probably Rocket Commemoration, something like that to help with more ad clear or damage depending on what's going on. But if I'm switching to Thunder Crash, it's going to be damage, so it's probably going to be a Rocket. And we're going to see what's going on, whether I'm going to be the one running Yallarhorn or my Palmyra B to help out with more damage. We'll see what's going on there. But I'm probably leaving the solar build aside for now. I don't have, what was it? I had a solar Warmind build back in Beyond Light, which was the best. But that's gone now. So I'm not really doing that. It's either Void or if we need the damage, Arc. That's what I'm doing for my Titan.
One thing I wanted to kind of mention, you were talking about all those Void weapons you could use.
Yep.
Don't forget that if we have barrier champions, which I don't know if we're gonna have a whole lot of champions, or if they're gonna focus more on like the light, like the hive.
Mm-hmm.
The hive people with the light, the Lucent Brood. But if you have anti-barriers, you got a couple different Void options for a scout rifle that you can use for that. So this season you have that pointed inquiry that you have. You also have, if you were a person like myself and you had a couple banner engrams, you have the Aisha's Embrace, which is a Void scout rifle that can drop. You also have the Royal Chase, which is a weapon from a few seasons ago that you probably have some decent rolls of, maybe sitting in the vault. And last but not least, you have the Vouchsafe. And you can get like Rapid Hit, Dragonfly, and stuff on that Vouchsafe if you have one of those laying around. So don't forget that you have those. Always try to look at the like the champion mods, and always try to think Void first, especially right now with the mods and the things that are going on. Warlock wise, we're gonna have that Void build that Jared discussed. We're gonna have the Well build. Jared discussed it as well. But don't forget about that Stasis Turret build that we crutched on for the last basically all of Beyond Light. With the Stasis Turrets, you can use that as not only like an add clear build, but more of like an add control build. You can keep stuff from like getting close to you. You can freeze it at a distance, and so that's another thing I'll have. I'll basically have 3 loadouts saved in dim, like armor wise, and I'll just have those set up to where I can kind of swap back and forth between those as needed, depending upon what the encounter looks like.
Yeah, did you get those new stasis gauntlets where you get the 2 grenade charges for warlocks? Or would you just do like Verity's Brow?
I'd probably do Verity's Brow.
Yeah.
That's usually kind of where I go.
Then of course, like we'll probably have leveled up a Whisper, Galahorn, Sleeper, stuff like that, because easily can happen in DPS phases. There is a couple YouTube videos floating out there with Deathbringer with Volatile Flow putting out some crazy damage with just like 1 rocket and then like 2 rockets. However, that is boss dependent. How far the ceiling? Can you time your rockets right? Are they going to track to another nearby enemy and not track to the boss? It's a possibility that might be the play. However, that's very circumstantial to what we got going on in the area. The other thing I just want to quickly talk about, I have a Pardon My Dust with auto-loading and blinding. If you have one of those sitting around to throw in the kinetic slot, and then you can use whatever else, like with your energy and heavy slot, to fill your exotic. It's also very good. Blinding grenade launchers are going to save you a lot.
Yep. Or that splicer one. That splicer launcher as well is a kinetic.
Ignition code.
Yep.
All right. Any other recommendations or thoughts for weapons and for the day 1? All right.
I still got to think about Wardcliff trade-ins, because that might, based on that, we might be close to a big boss. So, Divinity Slugs might be a thing again. Depending on how close you get to the boss. And we'll have to see. I mean, it could be a slugfest again, which is no problem because we're set up for that already, based off of the last year.
Yeah.
So just try to keep a lot of things in your pocket, keep things ready and set, and you still got a couple days to rack up some anything 1550 or 1530 and up weapons just to hold in the vault to infuse later or what have you. I like to do that. I like to keep a bank of just infusibles on one of my characters so that I can just pump them out if need be. That way I'm not like, shoot, I need to go somewhere and get a weapon to infuse. But that's my only last bit.
Make sure you have 25 of the upgrade modules on you come raid time.
Yeah.
And a couple ships on you to be able to dismantle for Glimmer in case you run in need of that. I would also mention we are fairly confident we're looking at probably Hive and Scorn. So think about the shields of the enemies with the Hive and Scorn, because like with match game and those type of things, you're going to have to try to match those.
I see they did throw us a curveball in Beyond Light with Deepstone. Like the fallen captains actually had void shields instead of the typical.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Scorn can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with Scorn, is they're everything. Yeah. And the Scorn captains, the Overload captains, are everything. Are literally everything. They shoot everything. Yeah. It's the worst. They'll like tether you, invincible themselves, and then just start shooting at you nonstop.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
All right, Chad. It's time for some lore. What you got in store for us today?
We're going back into the Martian Missives, the lore books that you get while you complete the story. Now I was just looking into reading it, and I was remembering that I like kind of read it during the story, but I was so involved in the campaign that I missed lore books here and there doing my thing. But definitely reading these all at once is fine, but reading them like after each story mission, kind of it gives you more of a different feeling, because obviously Savathun's involved in these, and she's probably edited them, done all kinds of stuff to them. So seeing that going through, and then the last one, kind of like after you beat Savathun, you get your final one, and it really gives you a sense of like, oh man, like this is really crazy what's going on. But we left off where the first missive we got was from Osiris, and apparently he told us that he to side with Savathun because she could help us out. Ikora being skeptical, and just and Keitel telling us that Osiris is dead. They found his body, and not to trust the Osiris that's in our hospital. So a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of inconsistencies of things going on. The part of the Keitel story is that she says whatever Ikora said. However, Ikora figured out that is truly Osiris is wrong, and it's like, well, she didn't figure it out. The Techians did for us. She was like, Ikora was not involved whatsoever. So there's lots of inconsistencies. But the next one is actually from Ikora. It's the second thing that she sends us, and let's read this here. So it says, intentions, no matter how lofty, damn us just as thoroughly as our sins. My one responsibility to the Guardians, to humanity, was to keep our secrets safe, and I failed. Our greatest enemy strolled into the nerve center of the tower, and I showed her our beating heart, without question, because she preyed on my nostalgia. So now you find yourself answering to a vanguard of one. In quick succession, the line of duty has consumed first Cade and now me. Only Zavala seems immune to such tragedy. Is it simply luck, or is it ambition? For all his honor, Zavala was a brute before he claimed to hear the traveler's call. But now I wonder if I didn't underestimate his cunning as well. Don't let my failures compromise your chance to save us all, Guardian. Humanity needs a champion unshackled from politics. You need to chase down Savathun's scattered memories, no matter who tries to stop you, whether they're from the throne world or the last city. And be wary. If Zavala is a threat we didn't see coming, you be wise to watch yourself. Find insurances, ways to seem useful to him. Do whatever it takes to ensure your safety, in case this jinx on powerful Guardians doesn't end with me. Don't follow poor Cade 8's fate. I trust you and you alone to follow this through. You're wily enough to stay ahead of our light-wielding enemies. So the major mistake in that one was obviously Cade 8. The number 8 has been attributed to a couple of things in this, and there's lots of code breakers and people figuring stuff out, and there's double spaces and mistakes here and there purposely put as a sort of mistake in code and stuff like that. And I think the people that are working on it still haven't figured it out yet, but it's super interesting to see, because Ikora would never make that mistake. Cade 8. So it's happened for a very specific reason. The next note is actually from Toland. He talks to us about what's going on a little bit, and then he talks about how Savathun and the Traveler share the same cause. They're both looking for survival. They're fighting to make sure that they stay alive, which has been kind of proven with what the Traveler does. It travels from place to place only because it has to flee from the darkness. Otherwise, it probably would have stayed there for a while, because it was fine. It was surviving, doing its own thing. But as soon as a threat of death came upon it, it ran away, which is understandable. It has a pretty strong flight response. But what Savathun's doing currently is the same thing. She's doing whatever she needs to do to survive, and that's giving up the darkness and embracing the light. And so they have that commonality to them now. And then Toland says, with that shared need to survive, we have gained an incredible ally if we can accept it. So he's telling you basically, like, look, these Savathun's on our side of the light. And if you accept her as she is, you will gain an incredible ally. And I mean, sure, That sounds like something someone would want to write about themselves when they want to be on your side, edited in order to make someone who you trusted in particular, because we're the only ones that are really speaking to Toland at all. Even Eris hasn't really. So obviously she's trying to play to our heartstrings there. The next letter is from Zavala himself. He says, X-ray laser emplacements can rip the protons from a ship's hull, redefining what each atom is and triggering explosions as each individual molecule realizes it can no longer exist. And yet that damage pales in comparison to the harm secrecy can cause. While hunters may prefer to act their targets unaware, the warlocks may prefer subterfuge and trickery. A proper Titan conducts his business for all to see. But for Ikora's sake, I am willing to bend my principles. Her mistakes and the questions that surround them are already too public. And so I find myself in the unenviable position of approaching you, Guardian, clandestinely. Sadly, my concerns around Ikora are what bring me to you. I know my old friend, she carries her mistakes heavier than anyone else, and giving up the light to Savathun may be too much for her to bear. I can see the cracks forming in her resolve. The Vanguard needs 3 leaders to reflect the needs and perspectives of Earth. I need you to help to start correcting our current trajectory. I will not disgrace Ikora by removing her from her position, but her own flagellations are compromising her awareness and interfering with her ability to keep this city safe. I need a spy master who can work from Ikora's shadow, even, or especially, when she compromises herself. And you are already familiar with her work. I know that eventually Ikora will welcome the freedom of stepping away from the undue burden of her responsibilities. And once things quiet down, we will make your position more formal. Until then, I know I support your decisions and will back whatever changes you must make. I know this is no simple request to entrust you with uncovering our enemy's secrets and with saving my dearest friend's life. So he's asking us in, no uncertain terms to be a vanguard, to kind of take over for Ikora without removing her from the actual leadership. And that's regardless of class, because remember, our character is whatever your character is. So he's not stating you're the new Hunter Vanguard. He's not doing any of that. He's just stating that he wanted you to take over for her. And then the last one you get, which remember, this last message you get from after you defeat Savathun. And it says, Sender, Eris. Subject, she persists. Ice strangles bare branches by winter, and yet roots churn unseen. Spring always comes, and with it the fruits of perseverance. Similarly, the books of shadow burst with tales of the Witch Queen's cycle of death and return. So do not become complacent. Savathun is a cunning foe. I will only be shocked if her machinations do not continue to bedevil us some time yet. You have bested Savathun, at least for all appearances. That is the only assurance we have in facing an enemy who works so subtly on so many different fronts. I still labor to uproot the filament she spun into our intelligence networks during her tenure as Osiris. Thankfully, a great many have become more obvious without her constant maintenance. You should be aware that Savathun took a particular interest in you, and I have uncovered her infiltration of hidden communication channels. It's likely she is responsible for one or more false missives in an attempt to undermine your loyalties or redirect your goals. But her schemes invariably serve multiple agendas. While she works to sway with her words, she encodes secrets to erode your subconscious as well. It is possible one may pick apart these ulterior agendas with a cautious eye, and so I recommend reviewing any communications you have received in search for unusual elements. Report anything you uncover to Ikora or me. So remember, this last message comes after we defeated Savathun. So since this was made after, and it's actually tagged as when it was decrypted and when it was sent, we know that Savathun, being that she's dead, couldn't have edited this one in any way. So this is Eris, 100%, telling us to, hey, any messages you've gotten, reread with a fine-tooth comb and try to figure out if they're true or not. And take them with a grain of salt, because they are more than definitely edited in some way to serve her purposes. But again, she also doesn't say how or why. So we don't know what's true or what's false, just like her games that she's been playing of 2 truths, 2 lies. All of them could be, half of them could be true, half of them could be false. A lot of them could be true, only one lie. Like there's this whole agenda is about deception. So there's no way for us to know right now what's going on in any of these missives and which of these are true or false, because we didn't see a cutscene with Zavala reading this to us. We didn't see a cutscene of Ikora writing this to us. We just were reading them. So it's going to be interesting to see what of these, like, lore wise, changes things, which of these is true if they are, and which of these are false if they are, and just wait for these to uncover themselves over time, over this next year, I'm assuming.
I've been trying to pay attention to like the little. It's a powerful drop on the throne world. It's basically you go do a puzzle and then you kill some enemies and then you get to do a memory, and that's where like the 2 truths, 2 lies started, and then she's kind of gone on to prove what she's tried to prove to us. One of the lies or truths that she said. And then we all get like unique dialogue too, so it's not the same every time. Is there any of those that stuck out to you that she said as a truth or a lie, or just like playing the game that like got your head spinning, Chad?
Well, there's a bunch of them. The fun one is when she's these can happen at different times, but one of them she says Osiris is dead, and then Savathun is dead, and she laughs. She like lets out a chuckle, and that one's like, she knew it was happening. These are memories. She knew this was gonna happen. Dang it!
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those like, which one is she talking about though? Because we saw in a memory, we saw her die and get resurrected as a guardian. Is she talking about that one? Or is she talking about the one she foresaw as what we would do at the end of the campaign? So that one's like, I don't know when this memory is from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared a little bit. And another one is that the Black Fleet is creating an army on Mars. And I'm like, where on Mars? Can I find it?
Yeah.
Can I kill it?
And then I had one where she said that the Taken King will rise again.
Yeah.
And then like people interpret it as in like Oryx wasn't the original Taken King. He was the one that took being able to take. But
He did, yeah.
We're also supposed to get a reprise raid from Destiny 1. And that
There's your answer.
Bungie's messing with us.
There's your answer. That the Taken King or Rise Again means, I think it means we're getting the Taken King as our, not like the 3rd season this year. Well, that'll be the raid we get.
Could be a lie, Ryan. 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
They could be like, Taken King will rise again, and then Wrath of the Machine.
I'll squat on that one. So.
All right, I think it's time to get into the mailbag.
Ooh.
Mailbag. We need to get like little like sound cues for all of our little segments here.
Mm-hmm.
Question 1. How many of each character do you have for the day 1 raid? So we have a 6-person squad. We do have 2 alts this year. We had 2 guys that were having a lot of trouble getting off work and to be available. RIP Shifty, RIP Fbot, Mr. Vegas. So we do have 2 people that was both of our hunters actually that we lost, and we brought in just 2 more Titans. So
yeah,
right now we're sitting on 4 Titans, 2 Warlocks, but at least 3, if not 4 of us have the ability to change to whatever we need.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely.
I think we're starting off.
Definitely
4 Titans, 2 Warlocks.
Yeah. It's a solid 3 for sure Titan mains, and then Ryan, Jared, and I can flip flop all over the place. Ryan's definitely he's a for sure Warlock, but like he's staying there. Jared and I are going to be flopping between Warlock and Titan depending on what's going on. While the other, so we got our resident Warlock over there in the hat. And then we got our other 3 are going to be for sure Titans, with Jared and I kind of playing the field and seeing what we need to do there. So I think it's a solid setup. I think we'll have a fun time. Lots of splody boys going on.
Hey, punching things meta was set. So
All right, question 2. Are you excited to be able to craft raid weapons? I'll kick this to Jared. Let him tell us how excited he is for it.
no, I'm not excited at all. You have to get 5 deep sight resonance drops of these raid weapons in order to craft them. That's going to take a long time, and because we all know Bungie wants us logging in every week to go look at that Eververse store, to go see what ornaments or something they got going on sale, to show Sony that hey, we can make an amazing game that make people log in every week. So they're going to probably time gate us out of buying that, but they're probably going to spoils of war. We can probably use them at the chest, but however, we won't be able to get deep sight resonance weapons out of the chest at the end of like the boss fight. They only come from dropping in RNG encounters, not from the chest that you can buy from at the end.
That's rough. I hope you're wrong.
Oof.
Yeah.
Chad, you got anything else on that? Jared hit it pretty well for me.
He hit it real hard for me. I didn't know that it was 5 per wep on that for all of them. Like, no, why? That's
worry.
bad.
Hey,
I mean,
There's another
like-
pulse rifle for you to chase. It's the 3rd one. It's okay.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm beyond excited about that one. I am excited about the fusion. That's probably the only one that I'm going to be like hoping to get, and I'm going to stick at a forever 29 on that, and I'm going to get 4 resonances within 3 weeks, and then never again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the exotic before I get that 5th resonance.
Question 3. Do you think the first team that completes the raid will unlock something in the throne world similar to how in Forsaken the Last Wish completion changed the Dreaming City? I'm just going to say yes. I won't say anything else.
Oh, I sure as heck hope so. Like, oh my gosh, I hope there's a cutscene too, just like when that cutscene happened for the Ahamkara, and I'm willing to bet, because there's a lot of secret stuff that isn't open yet, lots of things that are going on. So I feel like something is going to happen, whether it's major or something that will be like slowly unrolled throughout the rest of this expansion. But we'll see. We'll see for sure. I'm willing to bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that somebody that it's going to get resurrected or get their power back in some way and teach us about Void, because we got those other Void fragments to get. I think they're going to tie that into something that we do at the end of the raid that gives somebody else their power back, or we discover some kind of lost power.
Asher Mir.
I hope
Asher Mir comes back.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Question 4. Not again. Question 4. Favorite weapon in the expansion that you've seen so far? Mine is Dead Messenger. I freaking love that gun, man. I love that grenade launcher.
Mm-hmm.
It is very fun. It's very good. You can beat all 3 elements. It is a bounty completing machine.
Yeah, you just use that, and then you can use a stasis primary weapon. You can just cover all your elements, just like that. To me, I with stasis primary, it's the crate. It's that rapid fire vest.
Oh yeah.
Auto rifle. I got one with overflow vorpal, and I feel like I just like never have to reload, because by the time overflow's over, if the vest intrinsic perk hasn't kicked in, like it's gonna kick in on the next reload. So it's just like it feels good.
I have that same role, and it is very good.
It's a ton of fun. I mean, based on the level on that weapon, the Osteo would be most people's guess for my favorite weapon.
Yeah.
They're very close. I think I haven't found one that I really, really like, partially because I just haven't had anything drop. I've gotten like a third of the weapons in the expansion because I just can't get the other ones. So for now, Osteo, yeah, the poisoniness, the funness, even though I haven't gotten the catalyst yet, is still just a ton of fun, and I can't wait till I get that. So I'm excited.
I really want to level up the Forensic Nightmare, the Stasis SMG from the Throne World, but I haven't got my third red weapon yet of it, so I can start like crafting it to level it up.
I forgot about that. I should do that.
I finally got it. It's good. Mine's only like level 3, so I can't speak a whole lot to it at the moment.
I'll have to level that instead of my Osteo.
Question 5: what kind of snacks did you end up with? I made the Walmart run this evening. I got a lot of beverages. I got some Bang, and I got some One Bite pizzas. Representing the bar stool here. So that is the route that I went. Have some Teddy Grahams, underrated snack. Got some Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Always up high on the list.
I usually go to Sam's Club Saturday morning, so that's when I'll be stocking up. But I do have like a whole bunch of Sun Chips already stocked up, and then lots of LaCroix ready to drink down to be refreshed. Limoncello S tier sparkling water, and then also got a couple One Bite pizzas. Plain cheese is the best one. I got a couple of those.
For those of you that are our audio listeners, Ryan looks extremely pained when he said cheese. Unbelievably.
These are good. I was more pained by the sparkling water. I was like, man, you move 2 hours north and you get a little bougie on me. So
I mean,
hey, he's gonna visit me and we'll go to the Target without you.
You said it to the club, dog. Come on.
Oh man. Let's see here. I haven't gone yet, but I plan on getting lots of sandwich meats. I'm debating whether I'm gonna actually make a loaf of bread or just get a loaf of bread. I'm probably gonna be lazy because unfortunately I'm on this coast, the best coast, the West Coast. So the raid starts at 9 for me. Like I'm gonna get up early, but like I'd have to get up and go to a grocery store at like 7 a.m. just to make sure that I get everything handled, get home, get everything unpacked, and start munching on some kind of breakfast so that I'm not wanting to eat right at the beginning of the raid. So I don't want to do that. So I'm probably gonna go on my lunch break tomorrow for work. But yeah, I'm planning sandwich meats so I can make some quick sandwiches on the go. Take like a real quick, like when people are grabbing waters and taking pee breaks, just go, man, sandwich. Definitely gonna go for some chips and salsa for sure. Got to get your veggies in somehow, and salsa's the best way for me. Regular chips also.
The best way.
What?
Hops is the best way to have your vegetables.
Hops, yeah. I mean, if I want to get my grains,
they recently added more hops.
I mean, if you guys want me to go to sleep early, I'll drink some of that. But yeah, probably got to go some gamer subs. I'm definitely gonna have some on my table here that I'm just gonna be slamming. Maybe get a monster or two just in case. But gamer subs, lots of water, just to make sure I don't die. Yeah, that's basically it. Just trying to keep it easy, keep it so I don't have to cook, because I'd rather just smack something together and get going. My buddy that I'm going to be running with that I brought into the raid with us, he's like, yeah, dude, I'm just going to boil like a whole 2 cartons of eggs and be eating that. And I'm like, dude, it's going to hit midnight and you're going to have the worst farts. You're just going to kill yourself.
Stick himself out. He's just going to stick himself out of his own room.
We're going to be playing at like 10 p.m. our time and you're just going to hear, oh no.
You're going to hear sirens. They think they got a gas leak in the house.
Oh man. Yeah, that's my plan. Not the eggs, the other stuff.
I forgot. I did buy some deli pepperoni. That's a life hack. Life hack for you guys. Get pepperoni from the deli.
Yes.
It is the Scottie Pippen of lunch meats. Whatever you put it with, it is gonna just elevate. It can't be the Michael Jordan of lunch meats. It has to have something else with it. But you put it on there, and
it don't matter what it is. That's the best part.
That's my advice. It's my advice.
Yep.
So don't forget, follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. subscribe, like the channel on YouTube. Rate us and leave a review on Spotify and iTunes. We haven't had one in a minute, and we always read those on the show. And don't forget, you can watch us do the world's first race on our YouTube channel. The Dokuro is going to be streaming there. I'll be streaming on twitch.tv/Conqueror's Corner, and I'm going to let these other guys sign off.
Guys, make sure to drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, try to do some extra stretching because Saturday's going to be a long grind and haul. And I'll do my best to keep my disappointing size muted so you all don't hear them, but I know a few of them will sneak through.
It's gonna be a good long run. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully we can smash it out. But we've learned from our past, and we know take breaks. But yeah, definitely stay hydrated if you're gonna be gaming that day. If you're gonna be going in day one with us, stay hydrated. Try to stay eating so you don't run out of nutrients in you. Keep up the energy. And just get on there. Open, and even if you are gaming, just put your phone on, open up the Twitch and watch Twitch or YouTube. Watch one of us. Just get that going on the side. Help us out.
R.I.P. Shifty. R.I.P. Moon Wizard. Thoughts and